What's up, everybody? Monkeypuzzle here on the Gaming Evolved server with all the IronMine guys newly added, and I am here at our little lighthouse gatehouse by the spawn on our Season 3 island map here. I've got a little bit of a cold, so excuse me if my voice is a little funny, but I've been waiting a day for it to pass so I could record, and I just can't wait anymore, so excuse me for that. And so you can see the lighthouse is still here. I did add another level to it. You can see when we get over there that it's a little bit taller, so it looks a little bit less like a mushroom. There's all kinds of new cool stuff here, like the industrial grill, and we have been fully kitting out the inside to be our workshop. Tons of storage inside these crafting stations, so that's pretty cool. And Aaron has made a few more of the techno gizmos, but we haven't placed them down yet. Things like the industrial cooker and the chem bench and stuff like that. So we will get there. And you can see the harbor that Malkuth 1974 and I outlined last time, and it is conspicuously absent of aquatic mounts right now. The night after, or the morning after I got that Ichthyosaurus, was the update, the 253 update, and Malkuth and Aaron took out the Ichthy and the what you call it, the Diplocolus, that water, the oxygen storing newt, and promptly got killed by the new stuff out there, particularly this Cnidaria, the jellyfish. They were pretty nasty. So I think it was Malkuth who went out and got another Diplocolus, and then when I got on today, I promptly killed it. I thought I was avoiding the jellyfish with it at this point, but I just took a moment AFK while I was on it and found myself being zapped by them. They totally electrocute you, and there's no moving once they get you, and the Diplocolus was just a little too fragile for it. There we go. There's some of those jellyfish right there, so I'm going to steer clear of them for now. But they are a great source of biotoxin, so if you crossbow them from afar, you get this biotoxin stuff, which turns out is a narcotic equivalent, but more powerful than it. So you can use it straight, like a narcotic in an animal's inventory, so you don't have to convert it or anything for that. And then you can also turn it into these new trank darts, which I haven't made yet. Today I'm going to take a little diversion, though, from the aquatic taming and stuff. I want to go get a shark at this point. I'm going to skip the Ichthyosaurus and the Diplocolus. We've got some scuba gear that Aaron made over in the fabricator. But for now, I want to go ahead and make a greenhouse. We had that farm in town, and some folks have made a greenhouse with crops in town. But, you know, since we have so many people here and they're all grabbing vegetables as they need them and stuff, I want to make sure that we have our own. Plus, it's just a fun thing to build with the Stuctures Plus mod, and I think it'll just be a nice addition. So I'm going to build it right here. We've got the end of our little outline of our harbor right here. It just kind of terminates into the beach here, and I think this will be a good place to have it. It's right by the water, and it'll just kind of add to the structure of the place. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart. So this is not a gun. It is the, what do they call it officially? The demo gun. Okay, well, it's got a gun in the name. But it's a great way to pick these pieces up without having to hold down the thing and pick up and wait like that. So it's just a quick little demo tool. And you can pick up vanilla items with it as well, although these are all Stuctures Plus. So I think I'm going to leave it there. In here, I've got everything I should need. So I just picked these up. I don't think I'm going to need that. Well, actually, I may. And let's grab some of those and some more of those. Let's go till I am overloaded. And then some of these. And then let's just put them in some good places. I probably won't need to drink water since I'm working over the water. We'll leave that there. We'll put that there. I'm not going to fall to my death at the moment. And there may be some other things I need. That's a good start. Let's get a couple more of those. And we'll grab other things as we need them. Oh, I know what I'm going to need. I'm going to need some of these, the triangle ceilings, which are very cool. A nice new addition to our building repertoire. So this part here, I actually shouldn't have jumped down. I'm having a hard time getting back up. But this part here is a little too deep, I think, for foundations. And it was kind of weird here too. You can see they're actually kind of floating. But there's no putting it any lower. Sometimes the ground modeling doesn't match where the ground is supposed to actually be. So we're just going to live with that. We won't talk about that ever again. Let's put the gun away before we shoot somebody. But it's also not a good idea to have it in your hand when you build, because you accidentally demolish stuff all the time. So another good thing about Stuctures Plus is that, for the most part, except right here, foundations will snap to ceilings. So that's pretty cool indeed, except some of the triangle parts don't work quite right like that. So we'll go ahead and we'll start with one of these. Now, did I get that right? I already got that wrong. Okay, so let's go ahead and pick that up. And what I want is to get a square one right here. And I got to figure out what I need to do that. Well, you know what? I could probably work backwards. So if I just work with the ceilings now, get the gun out of my hand again. Let's go here. And then, I know, we'll snap to that one. And then we'll pick this one up. And then we'll be able to snap to this one. I gotta remember that. There we go. Okay. So now we can just take this one out of here. And then we're gonna come around. So the way you build with these triangles is for these bigger curves, they get alternated with the square ones like that. And you'll see how that goes in a second. So we're going to just take that all the way around until we get going straight again. Like that. And then this area in here needs to get filled in with some more of the triangle pieces. Like that. Little stone pieces of pie. And like that. And like that. And I just want to take it to the point where I can then fill it in with the square ones. Actually, I could have done it one little bit before that. So let's pick those back up. And then we just want to catch that snap point right there. And now, one of the things that happens is this shortens it a little bit. We're not quite 4 foundations apart right now. So I'm just going to go 2 from this side and 2 from this side consistently for the rest of this build. Now I want to make it big enough for 4 rows of crops in here, plus 2 paths in between them, plus a room for critters. So for beetles, the Phiomia, and for some snails too we're going to get. Oh, she reminds me of one thing I wanted to do first. Let's get that going. In my engrams, let's find the tap. Here it is, the tree tap sap. It cost me 18 engram points. And now I think that is a smithy item. Let's see if it's in here. Tap, yep. There it is. And it is 100 metal ingots and 40 cementing paste. We've been grinding away with metal from the volcano and cementing paste from beaver dams. So we got that. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and put this on a redwood. Now, the reason I'm doing this... Actually, let me take the Quetzal, because I might need to stand on the platform to be able to do this. Aaron and Malkuth got a level 90 Quetzal, which is now 172. So I will explain why I'm doing this when we get to the redwoods. And just an aside, everybody gets annoyed when I say Quetzal, but that's how it's actually pronounced. The word comes from Spanish, from Quetzalcoatl, which is it's a Mesoamerican feathered serpent deity, and Spanish always has a hard Q. Anyway, if I was really saying it right, I'd say Quetzal, but I'm already Americanizing it by saying Quetzal. So we're doing this because we want snails for cementing paste, and the greenhouse would be a nice place for them to live and get contained, because they have to be... Did I get them all? No. They have to be on wonder in order to work. And the thing that you need to tame them with is veggie cakes, and I think the rarest ingredient I remember for veggie cakes is tree tap sap. There's some other ones, I actually need to look it up, but this probably takes a while, so I should go ahead and get this going. So I'm just going to place that there, and yeah, I should remember this one. This is one of the ones I used last time. So we'll come back later and see what kind of sap production we get from here. It's nice that it's up here, because then I don't need to worry about getting harassed by animals down there. Okay, so we got that in place. That'll be good for later, either later this episode or probably the next one. We'll go ahead and get some snails with that stuff and make us some veggie cakes. Alright, back here again. Oh, and from this distance you can see a little bit better how the lighthouse glass part is a little bit taller. It's still mushroomy, but not as bad. Maybe it is. And our dinos are a complete mess because things keep dropping off the cliff and then they have to bother and kill them. And they just keep getting messed up. I have to get some things to anchor them to. I've heard rumor that ARK's going to have a leash system pretty soon, but we'll check that out. Anyway, so let's finish this. Over here, I think that I got this far enough out. So once again, it's 8 squares long from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the main greenhouse part, and then 2 for the critter part. Oh, I have to make a tap. No, kidding. He did that. So now let's keep turning this around. There may come a point where it's too... Yeah, it's too tall now for this. And oh, look at that. I got an errant pillar down there. Alright, so we'll just go ahead and bring it around now with these parts. So remember, for the wider turn, it goes triangle, square, triangle, square. Inside of it, it would be like 6 triangles if we had a center for this. So that would be like a 6-sided figure. This would be a 12-sided figure. And that's how the triangles go. So we'll go ahead and put that there. And then this one... One should go... Not there. But... Come on. There! Haha. Oh, and this is actually left. Haha, you caught me. I was practicing while it was nighttime. So there we go. That goes there. Brief pause while I sneeze. Alright, that done. Stupid cold. Let's see if we can go ahead and fill this in. Oh, and it's going to need to go one out this way, if I can make that happen. Oh yeah, you know, sometimes the S plus parts don't overlap with each other. So when the door is going to go here, so I want this to kind of blend into here. So I'll have to go get a regular ceiling in a second to do that. Let's go ahead and fill this in from this side and see how far we can go. Ooh, a little snappage. Before we need to go to the ceilings again. I prefer to use these, and I just messed up there. No, I didn't. I didn't. That's good, I think. Remember that it's a little short, so we have to go from this side and from that side, right? And I did mess that one up. So here we go. Just overlap in the middle a little bit. It makes it a little less than ideal. But that's just what happens when you use the circles on the ends. So I can live with that. Let's wrap this up real quick. Can we get a foundation here? Doesn't look like it. Looks like we've gone a little too deep. So this will need to be ceiling and ceiling. Let's see if we can get a triangle on this one, because we need to fill this in. We can't. So that's also going to be a ceiling. So later on, if I care about it, and I don't like how you can kind of wrap under here, I can hang ceilings down, and with S+, they'll actually clip all the way through the floor. So that will be cool. Alright, let's move on to the next phase. So I can go ahead and dump all the stone now that we have our foundation. I will need a couple of these, and then let's get some parts. So I'm going to need 3 of these. Let me go ahead and just fill up what I need, and then I'll be right back. Alright, I think I'm good. So first, let's just mark the doors. So we're going to get out over here. Do I have a way to do that? Oh yeah, I could do that. Let me go ahead and get that stone ceiling, just so I stop feeling incomplete about it. Now again, this is just a regular stone ceiling. S+, Structures Plus is great, but there are some limitations to it. Pieces overlapping can be one of them. Okay, so we're going to have a door there, and then, let me see, 1, 2 spaces in, we'll have a door over here. And then we need a way in to the place as well. So, could be in any one of these spaces. Let's see, if I was coming from here, probably could try see if that one works out. So let's put that there, and then let's give ourselves a way to get up. Okay, I think that will do it. We could actually put more than one door. Maybe I'll go ahead and do that real quick. That way you can come in wherever you want to. You don't have to aim. Okay, so door there. We don't need one there. And okay, that'll be good enough. We'll have 2 ways in. Right there. Okay, so I can get rid of those pieces, because we're going to get heavy. Alright, so now we're just going to come around the circle with walls. So, not there. I've given up on the demo gun for now, because it's great when you have to take a lot of pieces down or they're too high, but it's not very exact. So here the animal space, bug space, is going to come this far. So again, we have to overlap in the center. I can get rid of those beams in a minute. So then we'll come over here and come around on this side. So that defines that side, and it's going to be too high. So we just got to take it up. And I need some more pieces. A little heavy, but that should be alright. Now, I don't normally build everything on camera in front of you, but this time I thought I'd try it, just get from start to finish in the course of one video. Okay, so now we want to go ahead and put a ceiling on this, and it's going to be a little tricky. Up here, we can go ahead and put these pieces, and we're just going to use 2 of these sloped roofs for the whole thing. Now, why are you both doing that? I could just flip it, but I'm afraid that that's going to be messed up. That wants to be that one there. It doesn't want to be that one there. Alright, we'll just flip it. Hopefully that won't mess everything up. It should be fine. We'll see. Okay, if there's a problem, we'll find out later on. So that's going to go there. That gives basically support for the slope ceilings. And then there's these nifty pieces, these ones, the triangle ceilings that fill in like that. Now the problem is that the support for the sloped ones doesn't carry over with the triangle pieces. So the triangle pieces still need a little bit of work. You saw over there when I was trying to snap the foundation to the triangle ceiling, it still didn't have that functionality. So for this space and this space, we're going to need to give it a little help. So we're going to need that. Let's make sure I don't have multiple snap points up there. No, I don't. Just the one. So we got to go there, and then give it one of these and one of these. It kind of uglifies it, but there's kind of no way around it. You'll see how it goes once I get the rest of this up. Let's see the best place where I can reach this from. There we go. That one. And that one. Okay, and then we can go ahead and put another one of those in there. Another one of these here. And then we can continue wrapping around like that. And I need a couple more. Just trying not to get too overburdened here. Okay. So yeah, that completes it there. Those are on a slightly different level as well as the other ones, but whatever. I could wrap that little underneath piece all the way around, but that would just use more pieces, so we're just going to leave it like that. So now what I need is something I didn't get. I need triangle ceiling pieces, these ones. And the way I'm going to do it is just in here. Let's see if we'll snap. We will. Excellent. We're just going to make a full little six-sided hexagon with them. Kind of loosely call it a circle, but it's not. But that'll work, and that will look fairly attractive, hopefully. So and then this is going to need to go one higher, and then in here we can go ahead and fill that gap. Again, we're going to use the model tool to get rid of some of these unnecessary beams at some point. Let's go ahead and finish it. Anyway, you can see we've got one end done here, and that's basically the design I'm using. Just learning how to play with these Structures Plus pieces in order to make some rounded ends, do something a little different here, and not just make a square thing. Okay, so I'm going to just do a little speed up here. Doop. While I just go around the whole side with the walls and get us all framed in. Okay, that's that. And then I just need to repeat what I did over there, over here. So, yeah, I think that's just the right number. We'll leave that on. I might as well get some doors on this too while we're at it. Then we're going to need all those. And these. And these. And these. Can we do it? We're heavy, but we can still move. That might be it. These are always automatic when you first put them on. Sometimes that's annoying, but I'm going to leave them that way. Apparently I'm going to be short a door. No biggie. So we remember that right here is... No, what did I do wrong? No, not there. Shoot. But here and here is where we're going to need to build that little support system for these two sloped roofs right here, which are in my number 5 slot. Bang. And bang. Okay, and then back to the little triangle roof pieces, which I do love so much. And then we're going to keep using these slope walls to bring this over. They look slightly different because of the way I had to flip that one. Oh, you know what? These walls are not even is part of the problem. You know what? I'm going to fix that. I'll be right back. When I said not even, what I meant is one of them is flipped. So see how there's 2 places here? So I just need to be consistent and pick one or the other. So I'm going to pick the outside one just to give the critters an inch more space and just make sure that they're all aligned. So that should be a little bit better. That was a small thing, but it would have bugged me. See you when I get put back together. Okay, now that's all hunky-dory. And with the sloped wall pieces more aligned, properly placed, I can go ahead and put the slope roofs back. So yeah, I got 2 ceilings here to fill in the gaps. That one's not correct. Do I dare? Do I dare? See if I can get this. Now this thing is not always precise. Sometimes it works. That's great. And go away. Okay. Alright, another little speedy bit. And fill in the flat ceilings. I could have tried to make a peak, but it wasn't working out quite right because the middle wouldn't have met perfectly because of this. And I kind of like this sort of Quonset hut shape anyway. And just remember to keep overlapping in the middle. That is, if you want to build this thing I'm building. You may want to build something of your very own. And I'm short 2 flat ceilings, so I have to get that. But then in here... Oh, no, we're not, because I'm going to go all the way around with these. I might need to take those ceilings off. Maybe not. Okay, that's cool. And I think that's it. I think we built the greenhouse. We just need a door there. And magically, I suddenly have a greenhouse door in my inventory. Now, if I didn't mention it before, these are the S Plus glass walls. And they're not the greenhouse walls, which S Plus also has. Every glass piece in Stuctures Plus also gives the greenhouse effect. So I can go ahead and put crops down, and these will still give the greenhouse effect, but they'll be a lot stronger than the greenhouse glass. So if some creature gets in here and wreaks havoc, I won't lose all this. And these are also the S Plus crop plots. And one of their advantages is that they snap to ceilings and foundations. Now the way I overlap these in the middle, they're going to be a little close there, but that's okay. We'll pretend this is a path right there, like that. And then we're going to go ahead, put those there. I've kind of worked out how to get the most of these in here and still have paths. You can walk on these without trampling the crops, but that just feels so barbaric to me as a gardener in real life. You don't want to walk on your beds. You need paths. So this little layout works pretty good. So we've got 14 crop plots, so that's plenty. We're going to do 2 each of the crops, and we'll have more left over if we want to do some narcos or whatever. It's probably not worth it for all that. We don't have to use them all, but there is actually one major thing that I forgot. We're going to work on irrigation in a moment, but I got these creatures here that I went ahead and tamed that are essential to every greenhouse. I've got beetles. I went into the central cave last night, managed to pull 3 of these out, get them tamed up, and I've already started them making a whole bunch of fertilizer. Now these guys are not a problem. This one's particularly pretty too. I can go ahead and pick these up and just go ahead and put them in here. And they'll even go through a door. They just kind of bounce around as I walk. But you just FF puts them down, and I just got to go ahead and put them back on wandering. And most of the time, they're too overloaded to even move much. Come on. But this place will keep them contained. And also as a gardener, I can't have my bugs wandering around on my crops and have them eat them. That's no good. Now, the other thing I forgot was I was going to build the Phiomia in. And I can't do that at the moment. So I'm going to have to take a wall down. And I think I can do this without things collapsing. That one's supported by that one, so let's try to take this one down. Whew, I was afraid things would come crashing down. So let's bring the Phiomia in right there. We're going to need to borrow a ramp again for a second. Let's get that, because I'm not sure if it can step up here. So I went ahead and tamed the Phiomia for this too. I got this guy, which I called Rich. Sort of, I can't see that through the sea of green, but referring to fertilizer, basically. But when I unclustered a bunch over there, I found that Aaron had tamed an even better one here, number 2. So we're going to use number 2. Higher levels and a prettier color. 2 colors, actually. Well, 3 if you count the gray. Oh, and they're wandering out already. Naughty beetles. It's mayhem. I should have saved the wonder until I did this. It's funny, their pathing knows the way out. Get in, you naughty beetles. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and park number 2 in here forever. Not a bad place to live, though. As a Phiomia, I get a nice ocean view. Always warm from the greenhouse. So, could be worse. Let's go ahead and pick this up behind us and lock ourselves in here. Boink, boink, and boink. Okay, there we go. It's just lacking snails in here, but that will come now that we've got the tree sap tap working. And it's probably be too much today to get snails, but at least we'll check before the end how much we have going on. So now the final thing here is just to irrigate these, and let's go ahead and do that. See if how few taps I could do that with. Like, I know I'm going to need one in the middle here. Let's see how these pipes interact with this. They're supposed to snap. Let's see, if I put this here, let's see. Let's use a vertical to see where it ends up. It is snapping, so that's cool. And you can do this one of 2 ways. You can either put it up above and let it shower on the crops, or you could place the taps down below like that and it'll work just as well. This way is more subtle, and this way kind of looks cooler, I think, as far as watering the stuff. I'm not sure if that's going to get to that one as well. Let me make a design decision. Do I want to do it like that? I like it better that way. The only reason not to do it that way is it looks like you don't know that they can go down in there. But just for the effect and the water and everything, I think I'm going to do it that way. And then if I need another one, I can put it there. So now I got to just get this hooked up, and then we'll get the rest of them in. Hopefully good enough. Can't really see it that well once it goes down. Why I'm doing it up there. Let's see how that does us. So our vertical then would be there, and then these would come out this way, and here's our tap. Can we do it from in here? No, I'll have to go out there to do that. And then we can bring these over as well. It'd be great if I could see what they were doing. I need to get some more vertical pieces. Let me go and get those real quick. Okay, while I'm out here, let's go ahead and put the tap on, and it's blue. That's nice. It's sticking out a little bit, but I can live with that. That's not too bad. And then let's go ahead and see this. The reason I like having the vertical ones again is they're really good at telling you where this is. So let's test first, actually, if we put this up here, if it gets all these. It does. So that's pretty cool. So let's go ahead and keep moving. Now, actually, that one may not be reached. Oh, it is. That's great. So we're going to be able to just do this right down the center here. So now I'm just going to trust that's snapping where it's supposed to. You kind of have to. Okay, so that would be there. And then, let's see, this would be there. Excellent, excellent. A little off center, but I think we're going to be able to work with that. That's going to look fine. No one's going to notice. Don't you tell anybody. 1. We're just having faith here. 2. Hey, it worked. So we can put that there. That there. And that there. Like I said, I could have embedded those down there, but I like the look of this. It just satisfies me to see that water animation. And everything is irrigated. So that's fantastic. We have gone ahead and made an irrigated greenhouse. So now I just need to plant these up with some crops. I've got a bunch of fertilizer already in here. So I'm going to go distribute that, plant some seeds, and I will be back. One thing to note is that the S Plus crop plots have a lot more slots than the standard crop plots. So they're all planted up. I'll show you when they grow. And just in case anybody doesn't know, you get the poop for the fertilizer from the Phiomia, and you just force feed it stem berries. Just click on it, remote use. That makes it poop like crazy. Silliest game mechanic ever. I mean, it's actually relates to the real world kind of, except without the stem berries. But the poop, you gotta laugh at the scatological humor. And then one thing when you're clearing these guys out is, oh, and they make a little bit of oil too, is what I do is I get all the fertilizer out. If there's poop left, of course, you leave that in, and you always level up their weight, because that's the only really important stat on them. You get a lot of fertilizer, so much better than the compost bin. And I put as much poop as will fit, and then I top it off the rest of the weight that wouldn't fit another poop with spoiled meat, because that's what they actually eat. They don't eat the poop, and if you don't give them the spoiled meat, they'll starve. And just as evidence that these glass parts, sort of the metal glass parts, work as greenhouse glass, you can see right at the bottom there we got the 300% greenhouse effect. Not bad. Oh, and one thing I forgot is in my hand here I have the model selector. It's another gun, but this one you can choose. Some of the parts have a lot of different styles to them. So I want to get rid of this double bar in the middle. It's not that bad, but it's some visual clutter. So we're going to pick 3 sides. I think it's 3 sides D. Yeah, so we just get that side, and this side, and you see it eliminated that one. So that's done. And then what we can do is press G, and it copies that one. And now we can just click that one and get that. So, and I'm not sure if that's going to be the right one for here or not. It is. So we can just take that and run all the way down here, lickety split, and get rid of all those. And then back here, I guess I could have done it over there. We'll just pick the next one. So you got to press G again, clear it, and then 3 sides C. That's it. Done. Press G. And come on, you can do it like that, and well, I'm walking on my crops, I know. So there you go. That gets rid of that overlap. Still looks like it has plenty of structural integrity, and it's just a little less busy. So that was one last bit about building this I forgot to show you. Alright, it's maybe an hour or 2 later, and back at the tree sap tap, we've got 20 sap. So it takes 7 sap each for the sweet vegetable cakes. So I'm going to let that keep accumulating. Plus we're running out of time in this episode, but it takes sap, rock root, long grass, salver root, stimulant, and fiber. And coming back, that's what the greenhouse looks like from above. I think it's a pretty cool shape. I think it definitely helps define the whole complex, and yeah, I like it a lot. And then inside, let's check it out. The crops have grown. Oh, you're still following me. You stay there. Yeah, so I planted, let me see, 4 citronal, and then 3 each of the saveroot, longgrass, and rocker root. So the crops store best inside of the crop plots. So this way we'll have a lot of all of them to pull at any given time for any given project. And then one here with stem berries, because, oh, those are going fast. Because those are necessary for getting the poop to get the fertilizer. So it's a self-sustaining system with everything in here, the beetles and the pheomia and the crops and the fertilizer and the poop and everything. So there it is, complete greenhouse in one episode. So thank you very much for watching until the very end. This is Monkeypuzzle, your friendly neighborhood gardener, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.